So I got a message from Freddie. It's tennis. Oh, excellent. Oh, that's indoors. That's good you booked it. That's good he booked it because... good you booked it because... That's good. Yeah. Yeah, it's good it sells out on rain days, so I'm saying it's good he booked it. Jesus Christ. Has been issue. Yeah, the thing is that has been that I have. There's 2 David Smiths or something in the tennis center, and they have to book it correct. Oh, yeah. So I have no qualms about doing diversions from this podcast. Yeah, you do the same thing with your piano playing. Like you'll go off the piece and make mistakes and bumble the whole thing like you're doing now. Well, it's really narcissistic to not bumble, so for me to bumble shows pride of bumbleness. Okay. Whether over the king's qualities, naked in front of the unique king, he gives his holy attributes to wear. He wears a robe of that king's qualities. It flies from pit to palace now with ease. When dregs become pure, that is what you witness in this podcast. They rise from the bowl's bottom to the surface. At the bowl's base, bad luck made his soul stay. So my bad luck has made my soul stay here in New York. Yeah, because it's bad luck. What's that? Mixed with torrential parts of him in clay, its mean companion tied its wings both up, or else it would at once have soared straight up. You would think like my soul would soar straight up instead of being so delayed, and sometimes like if I wasn't so drugsy, if I was more pure, it would go straight up. Or else it would at once have soared straight up. When the rebuke came telling it, go down. Yeah, I've been rebuked a lot of times, and they told me to go down, to get out, or go down, or whatever. So, go down means Quran 2:36. When Adam and Eve are told this after having eaten from the forbidden tree. Yeah, like if you do something forbidden, in a way you could be told to go down. So every time you do something wrong, you're being told to go down. Like, when the rebuke came telling it go down, like Harat, they then hung it upside down. Yeah, and they even have this stuff called poetry, upside down poetry, which even Kabir has written upside down poetry. Like Harat Haruta, they then hung it upside down. Huruts of heaven's angels previously was hung like this due to rebuke, you see. Hung upside down for straying from the head, claiming the headship and going alone instead. Yeah, like I said, I was going alone sometimes, and I go alone like if I was to go hiking, I'd go alone, but I'm not going alone. Claiming headship and going alone instead. Yeah, I have gone alone. Like I went to Yellowstone National Park alone and hiked it alone. So claiming headship and trail headship and going alone instead. Yeah, you can hike alone. You don't have to wait around for other people. A basket filled with water had the notion of self-sufficiency, then left the ocean. Not one drop was left in it naturally. The ocean called it back compassionately. A favor without cause, nor for work done. That's from the ocean, a blessed hour for one. By all means gather on the shore, although the people there are pale, God might bestow through his kind grace some jewelry anywhere, and give your pale face color in this way. Yeah, if God is graceful, gracious, and you're a pale person, you have a putrid amount of faith, and you're pale, and you have inflammation, and you haven't been exercising, he can put color in your face. That is if you both exercise, play 3 hours of tennis, and then do meditation. And then perhaps maybe play Beethoven sonata or do something meaningful with your time. By all means gather on the shore, although the people there are pale, God might bestow through his kind grace some jewelry anyway, and give your pale face color in this way.
Ahora sí entiendo por qué David es como...
Well, but I get some color from just my wife's affection. The best complexion is one pale and shallow, since it's from hope of meeting God tomorrow. Yeah, the best complexion is one pale and swallow, since it's from hope of meeting God tomorrow. Yeah, you're supposed to be pale-faced and you're supposed to be in the state of crying and begging for God's mercy and meditation. And the best complexion is one pale, since it's from hope of meeting God tomorrow. Except for I've written poems where I get angry about the hope of meeting God tomorrow. Makes me angry because I'm supposed to hope to meet God right now. It's not, there is no tomorrow. So, bright beaming cheeks in contrast are so ruddy, because the soul is so content already. Hope makes one thin, pale with humility. Yeah, and hope makes you thin. Yeah, well, why don't you get some hope of meeting God tomorrow so you'll get thinner, and maybe that's why you're fat. Yeah. Well, if I had hope of meeting God tomorrow instead of meeting him today, you might not be meeting so much food today. Hope makes one thin, pale with humility. This person's ailment isn't bodily. Even Galen, on seeing a pale face, would then expect a sickness he can't trace. Galen is the famous early doctor, I think a Greek or something. When you have also fixed hope on God's light, Muhammad's words, quote, if self's abased, unquote, are right. Light with no shade is lofty and so lovely. You are still embroiled if your own light is patchy. Yeah, that's like if your meditation, the light is patchy. Like if the appearance of the light is very patchy. You're still embroiled if your light is patchy. Yeah, it's supposed to not be so patchy. Naked lovers all want the naked body. Yeah, if I'm naked, I would like my wife to be naked too, I guess. Naked lovers all want the naked body. Clothes can stay on for impotent men only. The food is for those fasting, for the fly, the trivets, like the soup as it darts by.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The king appeals to Ayaz again. Explain your action and solve the puzzle for the deniers and the blamers, for it is not considerate to leave them in confusion. Yeah, and it's not considerate of me to leave people confused about what's going on in this podcast. This speech is limitless. This podcast is limitless because I go beyond all measure. Yeah, and I try to go beyond all measures possible in this podcast. This speech is limitless beyond all measure. Ayaz, tell me about your states, a treasure. So I'm telling you about the states of meditation, which is a treasure brought from the mind of newness. How can you be satisfied with states you are here used to? Yeah, and why are people satisfied with the state that they're in? This one book was saying that the worst thing for you is luxury and comfort. Yeah, he was saying this one spiritual book was saying that the worst thing for you is luxury and comfort. So be satisfied with states you're here used to. Don't be satisfied. Relate to us. What is it? Amor, are you going to make any mushrooms? We having breakfast? I want comfort and luxury. Damn it. I'm unsatisfied with my state. I want a satisfying breakfast. Be satisfied with states you're here used to. I'm used to it. Relate to us those fine states and conditions. To hell with our states and talk of dimensions. Though inward states can't be related truly. Yeah, but I can hint at inward states in this podcast, though they can't be related truly. Though inward states can't be related truly, line 3640, I'll tell about the outward state now fully. And I could talk about what I've been doing with tennis and my wife. I don't know if she's going to make any breakfast and if I'm going to go on a hike or go on hiking tomorrow or what I did yesterday. If I'm going to hope to meet God tomorrow. But you said you wanted to meet God today and right now. Yeah, well, that's more like meditation. I'll tell about the upper state now fully. Death's bitterness was altered by God's grace. Yeah, and I've been reading this book about how to live longer and all this stuff, which is kind of frightening because if you take all these tests and stuff, the screenings and DNA testing, it's frightening. Death's bitterness was altered by God's grace to be like candy for my soul to face, and if that sugar's dust could reach the sea, its bitterness would turn sweet totally. 1,000,000 states reached me just like this one, then went back to the unseen. Well, he's saying that he reached 1,000,000 mystical states, and then he just went back and did a podcast. Wrote a poem or something. 1,000,000 states reached me in this podcast, just like this one. Then went back to the unseen, a true one. Each day starts different than the previous day. Yeah, that's not true. Your days are pretty much the same. You're not making any progress at all. All you do is your tennis playing. I know you played pretty well and you won 2 sets and you had a good showing against Walter and you actually started up. It was 2-0 and in a way, you're playing better, I guess. But each day starts different than the previous day. But in a reality, like you just say the same thing over and over again in this podcast. And your piano playing is peaked out, and you're like sort of advanced, mediocre, and your tennis playing is advanced but mediocre, and this podcast is advanced but mediocre, and your meditation is advanced but mediocre. Each day starts different than the previous day. Like flowing rivers, they each pass away. Yeah, well, all that time has been wasted in a way, but I thought it wasn't wasted if you meditated. Each day's thought is a different kind. Through thought, each single day, a new effect is brought. Yeah, through my thoughts, I'm training my thoughts to think better. If I could train my brain to think more. Oh, but you're saying you got to go way beyond just being positive. Yeah, there's an interesting line from Vivekananda, like it's not good enough just to be positive. Yeah, like if let's say you're an ultra positive person, let's say you're absolutely purely positive all the time, and you're dynamic, you're successful, you exercise, you're healthy, and you project positive thoughts, and everything is positive all the time. It's not good enough. You have to go beyond being positive to being enlightened. Oh, I see. Yeah, so that would let's say you create positive karma, lots of positive karma, like you're still stuck in the karmic world with positive karma, and you have to actually go don't have positive thoughts. Oh, okay. Each day's thought is a different kind, though through thought each single day a new effect is brought. So I'm gonna have a new effect. I'm trying to advance, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to improve my piano playing and my tennis game and my meditation and this podcast. So each day a new effect is brought. Comparison of a human being to, the mystic content with those thoughts of sorrow or joy. Yeah, well, I'm having thoughts of sorrow or joy. Contempt. I'm not content with those thoughts of sorrow or joy. It's like a hospitable person who is kind to strangers like Abraham. Yeah, sometimes Abraham comes and wants me to play games with him. For Abraham's door was always open to receive me to go play video games. So it was always open to receive guests with generosity for unbeliever and believer. The trustworthy and the treacherous alike, and he showed a fresh face to all guests. Yeah, in some ways I'm too fresh, I'm too generous and too hospitable. The body is a guest house, and each morning a new guest comes into the guest house running. Don't say that they are burdensome somehow. Yeah. And you're not supposed to be saying that your wife's need for the car is burdensome. You had a fight today about the car and didn't take the bus. Don't say that they are burdensome somehow. Or they'll go back to non-existence now. So I can't, they'll go back to non-existence. Who's my friends? So whatever comes to you from yonder realm, they are all your guests. Be a good host to them. So This book is saying I should be a good host to all these people. He was right. What's he talking? Sorry about the guests concerning whom the wife of the master of the house said, it's raining and we are stuck with the guest. Yeah, well, yeah, I was feeling stuck in a way. Stuck in my situation. But I'm not that stuck. I feel stuck when I got to red light. I got a speed camera ticket going 31 miles an hour in a 20-mile. You see, I thought most of the ticket zones were 25 miles an hour, so I go like 30 or something. So now I find speed limit 20, and I got stuck. I got a ticket for $50, so I can't afford now to take the car. A man came for a bad time. I came at a bad time as a guest. The host housed him and gave him what was best. He laid a feast on him. Generously, a party was being held then locally. Secretly to his wife, the host then said, tonight, wife, make 2 beds, not just 1 bed. Roll out a mattress by the entrance door. And on the other side, roll out 1 more. His wife said, glad to serve you now. To hear is to obey. Light of my eyes, sweet tear. Yeah, I don't know if my wife says that, or she does to make the bed and stuff. These modern wives, they have to be trained. They're supposed to say, glad to serve you now. To hear is to obey. Light of my eyes, sweet tear. So that's what they could say. She made the beds and then she left there promptly. She go to the big circumcision party and she left promptly, and she usually goes to the church or she goes shopping. She went with her friend. I don't even know where she went. Yeah, was that Independence? She went somewhere. Don't know. Something about Flushing. The bus. And you had a terrible time and you were tired of telling stories. I was a little tired today telling stories. Keep going. Yeah, and then your arm hurt. Yeah. I'm actually laying off on the terrace. Her husband stayed there with the guests to eat. He served him every kind of lavish treat. Till midnight, this pair talked about the past, the good and the bad, until that hour had passed. And I always look at like the photos of the past and doing albums and generates it on its own. I have to modify stuff. The guest got sleepy and could not chat more. He went toward the mattress by the door. The husband thought it too rude to make clear, your bed is on the other side right here. For you, I've rolled a mattress out already on that side so you'll sleep just like a baby. The plan that he'd made with his wife before was ruined as the guest slept by the door. It rained so heavily that night the crowds were stunned by the huge thickness of the clouds. Yeah. And I just read this thing about clouds, There's this whole book, they say, the cloud of longing, the Magaduta Kalidasi, something about clouds and stuff. So, yeah, what was that? Well, yeah, that is like. Oh, I see. So, flows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air, feather canyons everywhere. looked at clouds that way. Clouds from both sides now. Joni Mitchell or Zealand. Oh, they both of them. Judy Collins. The hugeness of the thickness of the clouds. The wife arrived home thinking that her partner was by the door. Her guest in the far corner. Naked she slipped beneath the blanket there and kissed the blessed guest still unaware. Big man, this is what I have feared, she said. And now it's happened just as I did dread. And the rain and mud have stranded here our guest, so he's still remain a burden and a pest. For how can he leave in the mud and rain? A burden on your head he will remain. Yeah, like sometimes you can't get rid of those people, and sometimes they couldn't get rid of me. So the guest got up from bed immediately. Stop, woman, I have boots. Mud won't stop me. Don't worry, I will leave immediately. May one soul never get filled up with glee, so it can reach its actual home much earlier. Rejoicing all waylays every single traveler. Alright, so don't rejoice and don't have a good time. Try to continue on your journey to the higher planes and meditation. Is that why you had a bad time today? Rejoicing waylays every single traveler. Yeah, some people, they just party too much, and stuff. She said, don't get upset, oh princely guest, because of my well-meaning little jest. Her begging didn't work. He went away and left them feeling bad he didn't stay. That couple mourned by wearing blue. Thereafter they viewed him as a candle without holder. He went off in the desert, and through his light was spared of total darkness late at night. The husband made his home a guest house also, ashamed of what occurred and filled with sorrow. The image of the guest would mystically say, through a hidden route continually. I am Gazer's friend, I have bestowed for free much treasure, but that's not your destiny. Comparison of everyday thoughts that can come to one's mind with new guests who, from the start of the day, arrive at the house and behave in a bad-tempered and demanding way with the master of the house. The virtue of being hospitable and putting up with the guest airs. What had happened is they became spoiled with the car. Thought that they could have the car all the time. After I got this red light, speeding ticket, tired of the traffic, I became bad-tempered. Oh, I see, so it's you. Yeah. Each moment, like an honored guest, the thought enters your breast, and every day they are brought. Oh, soul, they reach a person and no less. Thoughts? What gives a person worthiness? So maybe I can make myself more worthy by correcting thoughts. Yeah, well, you struggle with that even in this podcast, yeah. For thoughts, what gives a person worthiness? If a sad thought waylays the joy you're feeling, it's readying for joy you'll soon be seeing. Alright, so my being sad today is readying me to be happy tomorrow, so. Yeah, well, if you would turn that if you would exercise, what are you doing? Yeah, well, I'm trying to be happy tomorrow, so. I didn't sweep the house, but I took out the trash and I took the recycling. And I did the dishes. Sometimes I do housework just spontaneously because I need to move and I can't just be a deadbeat in the house. Okay. It's a sad good thought waylays the joy you're feeling. It's ready for joy you'll soon be seeing, sweeping the house of all else with much force. And I could be very forceful when I'm cleaning it. Sometimes I actually play this podcast while I'm cleaning with force. Okay. Sweeping the house of all else with much force of playing this podcast. So new joy comes from goodness's own source. So I get new joy from this very podcast of listening to Rumi, this is the source of goodness. So new joy comes from goodness's own source, which is this podcast. From the heart's branch it shakes off yellow leaves. So it will grow from now on fresh green leaves, and it uproots the root of old joys. So new savor from beyond instead might grow. Grief pulls up rotten roots to show to you the other root they have covered up from view. So grief has been pulling up my rotten roots. So the rot, they get pulled up. Whatever grief spills from the heart, it then brings something better in its place again. Well, yeah, all this grief, I don't know if it's improving my meditations. I keep trying. The meditation got kind of good there in the last 1 minute. Wow. Yeah, well, whatever grief spills from the heart, it then brings something better in its place again. For those with certainty especially, grief is the slave of those with certainty. Grief is the slave of those with certainty. The clouds and lightning frown once in a while, so vines won't get burned by the sun's hot smile. Good and bad luck can be guessed in your heart, like stars that enter one's house then depart. When it comes to your heart's house, you'll be like its ascendant, sweet in harmony. So when it joins the moon, it will then sing your praises warmly to the heart's own king. For a full 7 years, Job showed contentment and patience with God's gifts despite the torment. Yeah, I was tormented for quite a long time, but I showed contentment and I meditated I've meditated for 12 years in the morning and evening. For a full 7 years, I showed contentment, but now I'm not content anymore. Look, I'm kind of cracking the whip with God. Okay, and patience with God's gifts despite the torment. So when that stern-faced one would go back, it would praise him there before God as was fit. Job never frowned at me, that guest would say. To love, though to kill what's loved my way. Before God's knowledge, out of loyalty and shame he stays facing agony. When a new thought comes to your breast, then meet it with smiles and laughter. When it's time to greet it. Yeah, well, how am I going to do that? Be smiling, just smiling whiteness or something. And say, Creator, save me from its badness, and don't prevent me gaining from its goodness. Enable me to give what I see praise, not yet not feel sorry when each one decays. Watch over that sour-faced thought, and instead view it as sugar sweet inside your head. Yeah, well, I'm supposed to view this, my day, which was a little sour-faced, as sweet inside my head. All right, well, try to get your head on straight if you like to get out of your depression. Okay. Although the clouds seem sour days to bring you rose gardens and ends barrenness here too. Consider this sad thought, a cloud. Refrain from looking sourly at what's sour again. The pearl might be held in its hand today. Strive so it is content on going away. Yeah, well, I need to go to satsang. I need to boost the master. I can't just plod along like this. Even if there's no pearl and it's not wealthy, you will acquire a habit that is healthy. All right, well, I should have a healthy habit by now. That's what's bothering me. It's like, even though I'm not wealthy, I should have a habit that is healthy. Okay. Yeah, what I thought you had healthy habits. You said you did meditation, you were controlling the diet, exercise, but you're saying you didn't exercise enough. You got tennis elbow. So you can acquire a habit that's healthy and will a later time gain benefit. Someday when you are least expecting it. All right, so he's saying here that when I don't expect it, I'm going to gain benefits. I'm doing this podcast, I'm doing meditation. Someday when you are least expecting it, the thought that blocks your happiness is planned. It's from the Maker's wisdom and command. Yeah, well, he's blocking my happiness. That's annoying. The thought that blocks your happiness is planned. It's from the Maker's wisdom and command. All right, so young man, don't call it wretched, for it may yet be a star that brings good luck your way. I hope so. I'm looking for some good luck. I had a rotten time with the stock market. I just got killed. And, my puts were a piece of junk. The stock market went up. So I don't like I had bad luck. I was tired of my tennis elbow. My wife ran off. But he's saying here that my happiness has been blocked, but it's planning on making it. Okay. There'll be a star that brings good luck your way. Deem it the root, not a mere branch, so you may always reach your goal and what you do. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just keep plugging along with my meditating and exercising. Hope that things get better. Okay. If you deem it a branch and as malignant, your eyes will hold out for the root, waiting expectantly. Please, a waste of breath. Yeah, well, living like that keeps you always in death. Deem it the root and hold it close to be delivered from death by expectancy. All right, so I think this may have helped me today. So this podcast was for my edification, just to help me out of my rut. So, you got out of your rut by reading Rumi? Yeah.
This podcast is both humble and sincere. It's more than the mountain and the sea. While we're talking about Rumi's Book 5 of the Masnavi, line 3710, he says, Ayaz, so humble, with sincerity, yours is more than the mountain and the sea. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Yeah, I haven't stumbled. I don't stumble. When lust comes, I don't stumble. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble? Your mountain, strong intelligence won't crumble. Yeah, and I've by climbing mountains, by going hiking, and when I took a jog this morning, it made me stronger. So now I have mountain-strong intelligence that won't crumble. Neither in spite and anger's time do you lose some forbearance, as most others do. Yeah, so I haven't in spite or anger. I usually don't lose some forbearance. Penis and beard don't give one manliness, or else the crowns for donkeys' penises. Yeah, so that's not the source of manliness. Based on the way God speaks in the Quran, how can a body signify a man? What value have the souls of animals? Take a look when you pass the butcher stalls. So many heads are placed on tripe like that, all worthless than a trail with all its fat. Only whoremongers due to stiff erections. Let reason be a mouse and lust all lions. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. That's next time. For the next reading, yeah, this is a preview of the next reading this is a preview. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. So that's the next podcast. But this one was mountainous. This was a mountain strong pound podcast. This podcast is both humble and sincere. It's more than the mountain and the sea. Well, we're talking about Rumi's Book 5 of the Masnavi, line 3710. He says, Ayaz, so humble, with sincerity, yours is more than the mountain and the sea. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Yeah, I haven't stumbled. I don't stumble. When lust comes, I don't stumble. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Your mountain, strong intelligence won't crumble. Yeah, and by climbing mountains, by going hiking, and when I took a jog this morning, it made me stronger. So now I have mountain strong intelligence that won't crumble. Neither in spite and anger's time do you lose some forbearance, as most others do. Yeah, so I haven't in spite or anger. I usually don't lose some forbearance. Penis and beard don't give one manliness, or else the crowns for donkeys' penises. Yeah, so that's not the source of manliness. Based on the way God speaks in the Quran, how can a body signify a man? What value have the souls of animals? Take a look when you pass the butcher stalls. So many heads are placed on tripe like that, all worthless than a trail with all its fat. Only whoremongers due to stiff erections. Let reason be a mouse and lust all lions. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. That's next time. For the next reading, yeah, this is a preview of the next reading will be. This is a preview. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. So that's the next podcast. So, but this one was mountainous. This was a mountain strong pound podcast. This podcast is both humble and sincere. It's more than the mountain and the sea. Well, we're talking about Rumi's Book 5 of the Masnavi, line 3710. He says, Ayaz, so humble, with sincerity. Yours is more than the mountain and the sea. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Yeah, I haven't stumbled. I don't stumble. When lust comes, I don't stumble. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Your mountain, strong intelligence won't crumble. Yeah, and by climbing mountains, by going hiking, and when I took a jog this morning, it made me stronger. So now I have mountain strong intelligence that won't crumble. Neither in spite and anger's time do you lose some forbearance, as most others do. Yeah, so I haven't in spite or anger. I usually don't lose some forbearance. Penis and beard don't give one manliness, or else that crowns for donkeys' penises. Yeah, so that's not the source of manliness. Based on the way God speaks in the Quran, how can a body signify a man? What value have the souls of animals? Take a look when you pass the butcher stalls. So many heads are placed on tripe like that, all worthless than a trail with all its fat. Only whoremongers due to stiff erections. Let reason be a mouse and lust all lions. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. That's next time. For the next reading, yeah, this is a preview of the next reading will be. This is a preview. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. So that's the next podcast. But this one was mountainous. This was a mountain strong pound podcast.
I didn't think you got to show off. So cool.
Yeah.
This podcast is both humble and sincere. It's more than the mountain and the sea. Well, we're talking about Rumi's book 5 of the Masnavi, line 3710. He says, Ayaz, so humble, with sincerity. Yours is more than the mountain and the sea. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Yeah, I haven't stumbled. I don't stumble. When lust comes, I don't stumble. When lust should come to you, you still don't stumble. Your mountain, strong intelligence won't crumble. Yeah, and by climbing mountains, by going hiking, and when I took a jog this morning, it made me stronger. So Now I have mountain-strong intelligence that won't crumble. Neither in spite and anger's time do you lose some forbearance, as most others do. Yeah, so I haven't in spite or anger. I usually don't lose some forbearance. Penis and beard don't give one manliness, or else the crowns for donkeys' penises. Yeah, so that's not the source of manliness. Based on the way God speaks in the Quran, how can a body signify a man? What value have the souls of animals? Take a look when you pass the butcher stalls. So many heads are placed on tripe like that, all worthless than a trail with all its fat. Only whoremongers due to stiff erections. Let reason be a mouse and lust all lions. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. That's next time. For the next reading, yeah, this is a preview of the next reading will be. This is a preview. The father advises his daughter to prevent her husband from getting her pregnant. So that's the next podcast. But this one was mountainous. This was a mountain strong pound podcast.
They're the Nepal brothers. They're from Nepal. You want to play them? Play these guys. I was gonna, play these guys. Not sure what to do here. Huh? We're not sure what to do.
Can you pick games?
We'll play Yasser and you.
Yeah, I can play this. You still pay, right?
Yeah, because these guys just started.
Go ahead.
Are you? They're not in the tournament. These guys should play. Do you want to play that? I don't think we should. Play one set with them? Play one set and then take. We win and get down. I might only play one. You guys want to play a set? Yeah. Half a set? You want to play a set? Sure. Maybe they'll beat us. Maybe they'll beat us.
This podcast is both humble and sincere. It's more than the mountain and the sea. Well, we're talking about Rumi's Book 5 of the Masnavi line 3000.